Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's new episode of Breakfast with Boom. I am your host, Mr. Boomstick XL, and my God, do we have a show ready for you today? Because of the incredible announcement that happened during the roundtable yesterday, I decided to record some Doom Eternal footage. This first half, folks, I had it on the hardest level, and yes, I died a ridiculous amount of times. It was almost embarrassing. But we're going to be talking about that. But, you know, we have a great show lined up for you. We're going to be talking some OG classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming back in a big way. We're going to talk about the 20 Bethesda games that were just added this morning to Xbox Game Pass. And of course, then we are going to break down what happened at the Bethesda Xbox Roundtable event that happened yesterday, and my God, we got some big information. We have a big panel with lots of big opinions. So let's get into the introductions. Now we are 2 members down that should be here momentarily. Mr. Babbitt's running a slight bit behind, and Dreadpool should be popping in any moment. But let's talk about the people that are here, and let's start with our very special guest, the return of the King. And I say that with a big smile on my face because he didn't want to be here. He needed to be here to talk about what happened yesterday. And hey, King, welcome to the program.
Hello, everyone. It's your good old King back again. Well, Batsy.
That looked like ass.
We're going to have a grand old time.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. Can't wait to have you here. I know you have a lot of big thoughts and theories of what happened, what actually happened, and what is going to happen in the future.
Yes.
And there's a lot to get excited about. And again, I mean, I think that what happened yesterday was what a lot of fans wanted. I've been very critical with some of the wording that came out during the Xbox Wire article. I thought it was, although it was informative, it didn't give us the information that I was looking for, and I wasn't alone. Many people thought that way. And then, of course, they had the event yesterday, which was rumored, and Jeff Grubb, once again, right, correct. Jeff has been really knocking it out of the park, and folks, we had some big news. We're going to break that down. But BitCloud, first of all, welcome back to the program, Mr. Platinum himself. How the heck you been?
Oh, it is good to be here. What is up?
It's great to have you back. I know last week you ran into some trouble. You weren't feeling well. Thank goodness that you are feeling better today. And cannot wait to get your opinion on what exactly transpired.
Oh, first of all, everybody in the chat, hit that like button. And seriously, let's get some clap emojis in the chat for Mr. Boomstick here, doing incredible milestones. Congratulations to you, Boom.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Back when you were at 3K, you have a lot of good things in your future. Just continue to do what you do in this platform.
I would definitely appreciate the compliment, brother. Thank you so much. And Crispy Bomb, you, my friend, have been sitting on the sideline. I know you've been chomping at the bit to jump into today's show. How have you been, and how taken aback were you yesterday?
It was incredible. I can't wait to get into it. You definitely saw a lot of, especially if you're a type of person that really reads body language and the way people interact with each other. Definitely saw a huge thing is coming now, and it's even bigger because we finally got to see some people in person together. It was pretty awesome. So I mean, I can't wait for this year. This year I think is going to be, it's for 2020 to kind of be what it was. We need like really some awesome things to happen, especially for us on Xbox, because at this point, we have games, people. We have games. So
yes, we actually do have some games, and I think that this year is going to be a great year to be a gamer. I think no matter what platform you currently on, there is something for you, especially if you're a multi-platter kind of a gamer. Like I think everyone here is. There's going to just be more and more games added to the backlog each and every time we get something new, and I'm excited. I'm super excited. But I want to start out with something that's important to me. I think it's important to pretty much everyone over here because, we're a little older. Now, obviously, I'm the old man in the room, and that's fine. But with that oldness, if you will, comes memories. And when I talk about memories, I talk about, we were all reminiscing on the arcade days. I remember my mom and dad used to take us to Nathan's Arcade on Central Avenue in Yonkers, give us, $5, to go get our quarters, and we'd stay there all day playing. And something was announced this week that not only took me by surprise, I think it took the entire internet by surprise. And that is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is being released this year for PC and, of course, all of the home consoles. And why it's important and why it's significant to today's show is because it is being done in 16-bit-esque graphics, and it looks absolutely incredible. I mean, it's 4-player co-op. Obviously, you're going to be able to sit down on the couch and play with your wife, your kids, your buddies. But you're going to be able to play online. And what's interesting is it's being published by Dotemu. And it's being developed by Tribute Games now, and this is in partnership with Nickelodeon, who owns the Turtle IP. But what's interesting is that not only are we going to see Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo make their arcade perfect return, the opening song was done by the lead singer of Faith No More. His name is Mike Patton, and he did an amazing, amazing job. Now, if you're not familiar with Dotemu and Tribute Games, both have made names for themselves in the world of retro titles, often with lovely pixel art, which is, of course, classic. That's why I'm excited for it. Now, for instance, Dotemu, they were involved in the Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap remake, but more importantly, Streets of Rage 4, which was incredible. And Tribute Games, they worked on Panzer Paladin, Flint Hook, and Mercenary Kings as well. And both of these two developers / publishers have the chops to deliver. And I think what we're going to get, and folks, listen, I am not ashamed to say that a 16-bit remake or a retelling of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, could be in my top 10 of 2021. I mean, again, I don't have the game in front of me. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I've reached out to the developer to see if I could review, so that Double Barrel could review it. They haven't gotten back to me yet, but hopefully we get there, because I'd love to review that game, being such a big fan. King, I want to start with you. You're our special guest. You are someone that enjoys retro arcades. You have one that in your crib that has thousands upon thousands of games. And as great as it is to play something like Doom Eternal, which you see on the screen, there's something special about going back to the old 16-bit days. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I used to go to 161st Street arcade. It used to be Yankee Stadium's bowling alley. And it was across the street from Yankee Stadium, and we would sneak over there, and they had, at least 100 arcade machines, if not more, there while you bowl and, eat food and you play your games. And they had sit down, stand ups, a lot of multiplayer co-ops, coin ops. And they had Ninja Turtles right next to X-Men. And I would go
in
there,
unbelievable titles, dude. My God.
Yes. And then when they got the Avengers right beside it, it was just like the trifecta for me. So I would definitely go in there and play Ninja Turtles. I love the intro song, the theme song to it. I love the fact that you were able to play all 4 turtles at the same time. The animations was tight. I really think, after seeing because I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. Excuse me. I saw the trailer, and when I saw the trailer, I was like, is this going to be a cartoon? And then, I saw Xbox at the bottom. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And then it shot to the gameplay. And I was like, oh my God, they're actually going for it. And to show restraint, okay, so they have so much power now with these next gen consoles and PCs and stuff. And to bring it down to 16-bit / 32-bit era, you have to be creative without overstepping the genre, right? So you don't want to introduce polygons or introduce polygon backgrounds. You want to, have animated sprites, and you want it to have a frame pacing that is, 60 frames per second. That's what they were known for back then, because they were on CRT televisions. So you want to keep the frame pace good. You want to keep the animations tight, and you want to keep it current, but while staying retro. And I saw a lot of that there. Like, I saw a lot of animations in the background. I saw, the interactions in the foreground. I just can't wait to see exactly where they take them. Are they going to be on skateboards? Are they going to do the turtle tank? What are they going to do? Because I saw Bebop and Rocksteady, so I'm like, oh my god, this is going to definitely take it back. And the fact that you can play online with your friends while you're inside your house, I think that is going to be a throwback moment for us, Boom, for us older guys who got a chance to play. And for the younger people who never got a chance to play Turtles in time, go get it. Go, try an emulation of it. Or if you can get the actual cartridge, go get the cartridge and play it. Play the Genesis version, play the Nintendo version, and, compare the versions, and then get this version and compare that to that. But I'm going to have a great time at the end of the year as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, well, again, it's what I'm hoping is that Streets of Rage 4, which did not only well commercially, but obviously, with the gaming media and the gaming community, we all fell in love with that game. I'm hoping that we see a renaissance of side-scrolling beat 'em ups. I mean, we know that Capcom is working on a side-scrolling, hand-drawn new Final Fight. And they just released a new Ghost and Goblins on the Switch.
Yeah.
Which again, I think that when you start talking about these OG classic games, it really says something to how open the industry is when you can have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, remake get as much excitement as something like a new Doom or a new game for your favorite console, which that's what I love about gaming. It's such an open-ended platform that there's something here for everyone. Speaking of Capcom, Big Cloud, when you saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and mind you, this is a license that at one time was owned by Konami. And we know that they're not doing anything. Now, Nickelodeon owns the IP, which is great. So we know that if this does well, we could potentially get a remake of Turtles in Time, or maybe even a straight up sequel. What were your thoughts when you saw the opening song being done in the way it was done, in like kind of like like a rock-esque kind of a way?
Yeah.
And man, those 16-bit graphics in 2021 looked as good as they ever did.
A song is good when you're bobbing your head to it, literally, when it was playing. So I thought it was a TV show. I really did. I thought like, I don't really see what this is. Then, soon as you get halfway through where they showed the van and everything, and you saw the gameplay, it was like, man, that brought back the Super Nintendo vibes. I don't know if y'all played that on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, I did.
That
yes.
was at the height right there. And also, since they're doing it in this style, it definitely shows that Streets of Rage definitely appeased a lot, and it actually set the standard for them. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this does. And also, what this can lead to with the the Turtles. The last time we saw anything about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, though, in game wise, I think it was
awful. It was awful. It was by Platinum Games was the last one that we had. I was actually Mutant in New York or something like that. I actually bought that game. My God, it's awful. It's awful.
See, I only saw like the last. That's crazy because that's the last good thing I can remember was just the Injustice one where they were made him so authentic look. So, man, that's rough. But hopefully this leads to a lot more from it. I'm actually looking forward to it. So that was cool.
Yeah, now I would love to see this bring back a lot of the old school sides. I mean, Capcom had a ton of them, and I would love to see. I mean, we're gonna get Final Fight, but I would love to see Captain Commando. I mean, I don't know how many people here played the Aliens versus Predator side-scrolling beat 'em up in the arcades. My God, It was so freaking good.
That is probably the best arcade side scroller that they have besides the Punisher. I like Sega.
Punisher's dope too. Yeah,
Punisher was
Punisher
good
was
too.
good.
Yeah, but that Aliens, oh my god! The reason why I say that is because I was recently playing it like
I
2-3
played last
days
year.
ago.
I have it
Yeah.
on emulation. I play it at least a couple of times a year. I beat it a couple of times a year. It is just one of my favorite arcade Capcom classics.
Well, like you said, hopefully a renaissance does happen. Hopefully it brings back, because we used to be saturated with them. And with that whole saturation with the side scroll and beat 'em ups led to a saturation in arcade fighters.
That's where I think the problem is, though. I think because like Dave and Buster's is struggling and everything like that. Like we don't really see that many arcade spots.
I don't
So
care
that
about Dave and
yeah.
Buster's.
We used to go at Dave and Buster's.
I don't care about Dave and Buster's. I care about my living room.
But I'm saying though, it was
what
a
I
spot
want
though.
Game
You know what I'm
Pass
saying?
to bring back is I want this side scroll and beat 'em up start to take off, so that that can actually be a thing, and it can also spawn the resurgence of the fighters. We have an Adarth of fighters right now. It's I don't know what happened. We hit a tipping point where it was fighters all the time, and Bloody Roar and Toshinden, Street Fighter, and Street
DOA.
Fighter.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous
It was
amount.
there. We
DOA
were
took
there.
risks back in the day. Let me tell you, he was knocking people through like
Mortal
the buildings.
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. Oh my god!
So can't we get a Mortal Kombat with this new movie? This new movie looks crazy.
Yeah.
I can't wait till that happens, to that whole thing goes back into us having these competitive matches.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's like it's missing, and I don't think the money is there, or they don't think the money is there. But I think the money will be there in these services. It can happen. It can come back. It can, and I think Turtles, along with Streets of Rage and Final Fight, maybe Aliens versus Predator. What's that buck? What was that buck? What was that? The bunny rabbit.
Bucky O'Hare.
Bucky O'Hare.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get it. Come on, Capcom. This is why I want Microsoft to buy Capcom. People don't understand. Capcom has a lot more games in there than
dude. Their IP
got too many that you're just holding hostage.
Yeah, their IP is so rich. I would dare say this about Capcom: when you take an overall publisher and developer, I don't think there is. I mean, there's some that come close, but Capcom's IP list is so bananas crazy that if when you think of Street Fighter, you think, of course, Resident Evil, but when you really pull that list out, you're like, yo,
yep.
There's just one particular
ridiculous
banger that can literally wipe out so much hype, like with them, and it's Dino Crisis. And the funny thing about it, literally, I did a video about it because I was talking about the spiritual successor. It's called Extinction.
Yeah.
Extinction. Listen, I had some people hit me up like, yo, dude, I hope that's it. I'm like, listen, if that takes off and it really shows that dinosaurs can be scary, because that's basically what they look at in the board meetings. They're like, okay, zombies are scary. Are dinosaurs scary? I'm like, yeah. If you watch the old school Jurassic Park, if you played the original Dino Crisis, you're going to jump. That right there was definitely scary back in the day. So
yeah,
that needs to be.
It's about what's trendy.
You think that's it? Trendy?
Yeah, I think board members don't play games, and that's been indicative to when they ask the board members, what games did they do play. They didn't know if it could run on their machines from Cyberpunk. All right, so that was kind of really messed up. But I think it's what's trendy. Those games were coming out when Jurassic Park in the movies was a hit.
That's the thing, though, to add off what you just said. Because remember, I think it was what was the one with, was it World? The one with the other one? Yeah, the last one. That right there actually, was their highest grossing film. So you would think that would start the trend again, because they also came out with Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom also was in. So I don't know. That's the weirdest part about it. I don't know.
Hopefully it does happen. I think Capcom knows the IPs that they're sitting on, and they can hear you guys, because to get the remakes that we did get at the level of fidelity that we have received them, and it wasn't just reskinning,
Yeah.
it was reimagining, and then it was telling it from different perspectives. Oh, come on, man. It's insane. They take care, they take time when they have the ability to do so. I think they will give you the Dino Crisis, and it might be coming really, really soon.
I wouldn't be surprised in the least, and I think they know people want it. You know what? Real quick, we have 400 people here, which is awesome. We're only 20 minutes into the show. If you are new, I want to say welcome with open arms. Obviously, I do 4 live shows weekly, sometimes more than that. This is a channel that does not, push the hate narrative that so many of the YouTube channels do these days just for clicks. This is a very fun channel. It's very informative. And more than any of that, anyone can tell you the consistency is unbeat. I take this stuff very serious, and I spent hours and hours and hours not gaming as much as I'd like to, but putting these shows together. So if you're new, I would please ask that you consider subscribing and hit the like button. But I want to get to Crispy, because Crispy has a lot to say about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but Crispy, I have to catch up with some of these super chats. There's been so many already. The first one of the day comes to us from a very generous friend of the show, Dan the Man Cunningham. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, yesterday was a volleyball match. Pete Hines served it up, and Phil Spencer just spiked it down Jim Ryan's throat. I gotta tell you, and we're gonna get into that. I wanted to open up the show because I kind of want people to kind of file in. The way it was painted, I don't think I could have personally scripted it any better. I think what Pete Hines, because you saw Pete Hines, he was the lead, right? Mm-hmm. He was sitting in the middle chair. It was his show, and he basically really just, my God, it was a Picasso painting of awesomeness. Smitty Smith, our brother, bringing us back to church once again. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, good morning, Boom, panel and chat. Salute to Lord King, the Book of X. Regulator 951 drops an outstanding, very generous $2 super chat, says, morning, Boom and panel. King stocking up on knees. Eagles fan 76, another generous friend of the show. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, Randall Thor yesterday on DPS podcast had the best take on what happened. Did anyone you listen to what he said and your thoughts? You know what, dude? No, it's in my queue. I was up late writing, and I just didn't have a chance to check it out because I'm already working on Monday's show. But I'm definitely going to take you up on the advice. DPS, of course, if you don't know who runs that, that is gaming. That is Gaming Forte and our brother Slow Mo Backslap. These are two rising stars in the podcast game. I love their channels. Love what they do with this community. And yeah, if you're not subscribed to DPS, my God, please get over to their channels and subscribe to Slow Mo Backslap on YouTube and Gaming Forte on YouTube. These are two upstanding community members that deserve more viewage for sure. Smitty Smith drops a $2 super chat and says, man, I'm excited for Ninja Turtles. Yeah, dude, I am just ridiculous. Jeff Jewell drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, shout out to all my fellow old gamers. I'm 53 and just as fired up about gaming now as I was when I was 10. This is the golden age of gaming. Indeed. Welcome to the old man club. Thank you. Sin Vendetta, generous friend of the show. Sin, how the heck have you been, brother? He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and said they seriously need to re-release Simpsons. Oh my God, yes. Turtles in Time, X-Men and Avengers again as digital downloads on Xbox because they're stuck on my 360. Yeah, dude, yeah, you're right. And I went looking for it because I was like, I wanted to kind of capture some footage for today's show. And I'm like, I know I bought the Turtles in Time remake. Where is it? It's on my 360. It's not backwards compatible yet. Yep. Hopefully they can change that. Geezer Prime. Welcome, old man.
Geezer Prime?
Yeah. Awesome. Welcome. He says, after this, dropping a $5 super chat. Hey, Boom, love the show. This Xbox generation is looking epic. I like Xbox and Bethesda's approach on letting creators create great games coming. Indeed. Regular 951 drops an additional $5 super chat and says, I wonder why Sony fans didn't blow up Twitter talking about Rhonda Cox leaving Sony Santa Monica and joining the initiative. Funny how Twitter works. Yeah, she's a big get. She is a big get, and
bad bits here.
Oh, there he is, Mr. Babbitt. Thank you for that. My head is turned. Thank you for that, Mr. Babbitt. Welcome.
What what's wrong with Coxon? Why should I care?
Well, listen, we're gonna get to you in a second, brother.
Hey, I saw that
Daquan
gym you was
C.
playing on Twitter. That is a gym on Astrobot.
Yes.
Oh God,
GPU?
right? Yeah.
Oh my God. it's such a
GPU
gym.
song. Oh my God. Feel it.
Daquan C drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Loving time, a long time viewer, but one time contributor." Listen, dude, the fact that you listen is more than enough, bro. I appreciate the super chat. And listen, if you can contribute, that's awesome. If you can't, well, just enjoy the show, and we appreciate you just the same. Wow, Bounty Boom. Now this is a good friend of the show. This is a truck driver. This is a hard worker right here. He drops a $50 super chat and says, "Hello, Boom and panel, on the road to New York. So I'm here for the whole show. I haven't listened to the full show live in a long time. Give me a great discussion. Let's go." Oh, dude, you're in for it, brother. So thank you for the Thank you for the extreme generosity. Drunken Ninja drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Shannon Briggs voice. Let's go, Boom. Boo. Let's go, Boom." Love the panel.
He want to say like, "Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Let's go, Boom. Let's go, Boom." That's how you wanted it, right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, and he got it from the king. Thank you so much. The Wise Old Gamer drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Morning, Boom. I have nothing to say. I just want to thank you for all the prayers." My pleasure, brother. I know you've had it really, really tough, dude. And you know what?
Glad to see you're doing all right, dude.
Yeah, we're definitely glad to see you here, dude. Absolutely. So just want to say thank you for all the prayers. You cannot imagine how grateful I am here. Yeah, well, we're grateful that you're still here, brother. Suicide Kings drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I'm just here to collect the bounty on King David, put out by TCL. Oh, the good gaming news. Boom, can't help King. This is business." And Victor Alistine, another generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, "Like to see a shared Halo universe like the MCU. Dude, sign me the F up." Okay, so Crispy Bomb, we're talking Ninja Turtles. I think that regardless of how old you are or how young your kids are, this is an IP that just transcends generations. I think they have a hit on the hand, and the game isn't even out yet. What were your thoughts on the incredibly dropped trailer?
Oh man, I got the feels. I thought I was watching a cartoon like you guys as well. So I was like, okay, is this a cartoon? I might watch it. I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, there it is. I thought this was a game. And I'm like, oh wow. I couldn't believe it was just like nostalgia came back. I was like, I remember sitting there playing Super Nintendo with Turtles in Time and like the beginning level when you go down into the sewer and you're like, yeah, this is awesome. And they kind of made it look like a painting even better. You know what I mean? You don't feel like you feel like it's something new, but it still goes into that old, into your heart almost, and kind of reaches in and takes it out. It's like, haha, we have it. And and it's like that's what I kind of felt with Streets of Rage as well. I was like, man, it's one of those things like you love it, but then you're like I'm glad that they actually did something rather than just being like, oh, we're gonna take this old port and just move it here. You know what I mean? Because you can't do that anymore. You want your children and whoever else, like, you're talking about these old games and they're like, what is that? I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? Like, and now at least some of them you could be like, see, this is what we were playing. In the
arcade. Yes.
Yeah, and it was this. Yes, it's not like your greatest game you've ever seen now, but back then it was. And at least it's playable and it looks better, and they still preserve what we remember. And I think that's the biggest thing that, we could ask for, being, gamers that grew up with arcades and stuff. Like you can make them look better. You can put out a different release, but really preserve that love that we had there.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, listen,
you saw the hate that Battletoads got for daring to be different, and I really love Battletoads.
Oh, I really enjoyed that.
Yes, I did not end it. I'm not gonna fraud, but I played it. It got to a frustrating level. I played the hell out of the game, and I love the animation, and I love what they tried to do. But then you had all the people that were complaining, oh, it's so far different than what we remember. did you really go back and look at what we remembered? And I was like, Microsoft did a fan service for updating it, but it seems like this Ninja Turtles, it's keeping that same essence of what we remember.
Yes,
but it's bringing it current.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love what they're trying to do, and I can't wait to explore it.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Factor
Joe,
is definitely revitalized. That's for sure.
Yo, no doubt about that, Big Cloud. Joe, when I DM'd you, again, you're a lot younger than some of us, but you still appreciate the Turtles. What were your thoughts when you saw how great this remake looks?
Well, right off the bat, if you just told me, like, you gave me the PR release, like, I would already be on board because, I understand that Windjammers is an indie darling, and Streets of Rage 4 was very, very positively received. So you have that team working on this game. I'm already in. I think this is going to be, there's no way this can't be anything less than great. Then you look at the art style, and it's very much their art style, but it goes so well with it not deviating so far from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the arcade games that we know and love, and still capturing that essence. So like you could see just through the art direction alone, there is a lot of care being put into this game. So yeah, no, I'm 10,000% in. Are you kidding me? Also, Michelangelo is the best Ninja Turtle, and that's not even a debate.
I would have to argue with you and say that it's actually Donatello. Personally,
oh come on, with the
I will
Johnny
go with Raphael.
Malarkey.
Listen, without Raphael, they would have died plenty of times. So.
Oh, that's true.
But they would have had fun. They would have had fun.
He's
they
like
didn't
Leo's
take
to go to
themselves
the
so
stores.
seriously.
No, that's Ralph.
Yeah. Leo couldn't do shit with that sword. Okay, I never saw him disembowel anyone. Raphael
you was reading the wrong
line,
books. You was reading the wrong books. See, I'm a Ninja Turtle fan from the books,
from the black and white books.
Crap.
Yes.
But the books where they were actually disemboweling people. And Raphael had to go on solo missions at night because he was deemed like the Wolverine of the team. And because they was made like X-Men. And Leo was Cyclops, and Cyclops is very precise and stuff. And by the way, check out King of the Statues that I did the whole review on these statues. And I actually love each and every last one of them. But you really have to look at the psychology that goes behind each Ninja Turtle themselves, and they're all great within their own right. You see how we are all battling for one turtle, right? And everybody had a turtle that they love, and everybody said which one was the best. So if you never played the game and you're thinking about it, and I want to find out who's your best. What's your best? Put that in the chat. Let us know, who's your best turtle.
I swear that storyline's always played out though, especially in the movies where it's like Leo and Ralph are like at each other's throats.
Always,
it's so played out. Like I'm like, guys, I don't want to see that no more. Can I get some
water? Oil and water.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, what I want to do is I want to catch up some of the super chats that came in, and then we're going to get to the topic number 2. Now, the next topic is big because it talks about Game Pass, and Game Pass just saw a monster bunch of releases. That's right. They released 20 Bethesda games right into Game Pass. I have the list of what's coming, what's there. And man, listen, again, if you are someone that has a backlog, your backlog has just gotten even deeper because there are a lot of those games that people passed on because they weren't sure if they were going to spend the money and like them, like Prey. A guy like Jez Corden absolutely loves Prey. Me, I was on the fence with it. I own it. I didn't play through it. I played a couple of hours into it, and I fell off. But games like Dishonored, a lot of people skipped on that. Dishonored was freaking incredible, and it's there for you. Which is awesome. So we're going to break that down in a second, but let me catch up on some of the super chats. So we have DJ Berto DOS. What's up, dude? Hopefully you're well. He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, did someone say Xbox Bethesda exclusive Game Pass in the house? Same sentence in the same sentence. Phil Maximus Dominus Aurelius Spencer. I was telling Cognito yesterday, I think he needs another name. I don't know what that other name is going to be after Aurelius, but I know that King is going to be the one to give it to him. Jagai,
he's stuck on his name. That's it.
Okay. Jagai in the chat drops a very generous $3 super chat and says, "Hey King, time to throw PS5 in the bushes with TCL." And we have a new channel member, Peter Sevson. Hey, Peter, thanks so much for joining the channel. It's greatly appreciated, and we're glad that you are here. J Mo Money drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Panel's favorite turtle, Donnie from me, yo." Yeah, I'm right there with you. Donatello is, what can I say? He's the man. But look, folks, yesterday we learned a lot of what happened at the roundtable. But what we learned more so than that was that we were expecting to start receiving Bethesda titles in Game Pass. It only makes sense, right? Now they're considered first party, so all of their catalog of some of their best works were going to come at some point. What we didn't realize, what we didn't know, is that they were going to basically drop a megaton amount of games, 20 of them. Now, here's the list. And listen, there's something here for everyone. You have Definitive Edition of Dishonored. You have Dishonored 2. Doom, the original, 93. Doom 2, Doom 3. Doom 64, that was an exclusive when you bought the big package for Doom Eternal. And Doom 64 is dope. You have obviously Doom Eternal was there. You have Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Special Edition. You have Elder Scrolls Online, The Evil Within, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Fallout New Vegas, Prey, Rage 2, Wolfenstein The New Order, Wolfenstein The Old Blood, and Wolfenstein Youngblood. Now listen, that's 20 of their best games. Now, yeah, sure. Are there some still missing? Yes. Are they going to be dropping relatively soon? Absolutely. King, we always talk about value. You specifically, because you have kids, you have your businesses, you have your hobbies with your miles and stuff. So you have been for the longest time a big proponent of Xbox Game Pass, and with the addition of all of these Bethesda titles, how elevated is the value now?
I would like to first start off this answer with who did that for you.
That'd be Phil Maximus Dominus Aurelius Spencer.
Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer. And the reason why he got those names that you guys maybe don't know, Dominus, is because he started to dominate, and he was dominating in a room full of snakes where at the point in time, they didn't think he was able to do it. I akin him to landing the pachinki with a butter knife and coming out and getting a winner chicken dinner. And the man has done it. When he got his last name from me, Aurelius, was when they launched the strategy. I knew the strategy was going to win. And I knew Game Pass was going to be successful. The reason why I knew Game Pass would be successful is because this is something that we've been dying for, and you guys didn't know that you really needed it. The price value proposition raised today to a tremendous stakes. I hate COVID, right? I'm pretty sure that I'm not alone in this thought, because I honestly believe that this whole stuff was planned to happen last year. And had this stuff happened around the time the consoles had launched and made Game Pass an even more attractive proposition, because the trade commissions and everybody was actually in office and they can review stuff in office and do things at a different pace, it would have passed then, and we would have got these titles then. That's why, we got hit with all those titles in one shot now. With that being said, there are other titles that will launch into Game Pass when it comes, through. Those titles from Bethesda are titles that I already own, basically. I pretty much own all those titles that was launched today. Now, does it really speak to me? Yeah, because I don't have to get up and get the disc and put the disc in. I can just play it straight from a hard drive. And a lot of those games were enhanced. Some of them, if it is it auto HDR, stuff like that, they look a little bit better. But having them all in one condensed library is a whole lot better for myself. Now, for individuals that never got a chance to play these games, like Doom 64 or Doom Eternal or Prey, games that you were iffy about and you didn't know that you wanted to spend the money on, now they're there for you. Wolfenstein, they had a problem with the Youngbloods. I thought the Youngbloods was fantastic. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great game. People didn't like the direction that it took. But could you imagine if you spent $70 and you didn't like the game, or $65 and you didn't like the game? Or how about now that you pay your Game Pass subscription for the year or for the month or whatever, and now you got a chance to try these games out?
That's great. Hit you with the $70 for that Destruction All Stars.
Yeah, well, this is the proposition of Game Pass.
Yeah,
try without the penalty of having like, damn, I just wasted money. I could have brought this, or I could have did this, or I have to do that. That eliminates that off the table. And if you like the game so much, you can buy the game. It's not just, you renting the game and you don't have a proposition to pay for the game. No, 20 million people inside Game Pass. And I'm pretty sure by the time that, we finish this podcast today, it'll probably be up a couple of more million people from launching 20 games in Game Pass today.
Yeah. There's already talks of Ubisoft, supposedly.
Yeah, that's it. King was actually King. Yeah. I don't want to deviate from that, but you and I had a conversation yesterday.
Yes,
and you and I both have an understanding from different connections that we both have. I'm not sure if it's the same. Pretty much. Ubisoft Plus is coming, and it's going to be announced relatively soon.
Okay, well, what's going on with that is, everybody has their own services, right? And EA was smart enough to realize, because they have EA Access that was inside Microsoft's ecosystem, and they were to moderate success, and they launched in the PlayStation ecosystem to moderate success. And then they saw Game Pass, and they want those viewers. How can we get those viewers? So being that they already had a relationship with Microsoft handed over, the back door. Yo, check it out. This is what we're doing with this, and the third. Oh, okay. So we can get more views, and once you get more views on your game, because I didn't purchase Squadron. Squadron is released right now. I haven't played Madden. I haven't purchased a Madden game in probably 10 years. I was just playing Madden the other day. So what did EA do for me? They got my attention. They got my interaction. They would have never gotten this if it wasn't inside Game Pass. So this is the benefit that they're getting right there, that interaction, that traction. Now when I'm playing it, I might purchase this, or I might do this. Yeah. So they showed how they can make the money here. Ubisoft has the same type of service that EA Access is. And they said, how can we get into the same situation? Remember the Microsoft third-party show?
Yes.
Yeah. Remember all those games that were there?
Everyone's in Game Pass.
Memory, everything. Yeah.
Right. What other game is not there yet?
Watch Dogs.
Valhalla.
Yeah, both of those. Yeah,
that would make sense because they had marketing this time around for Valhalla for Series X.
These games are going to come. I think that's going to be announced when I think Valhalla is going to be announced inside Game Pass when Ubisoft Uplay comes into Game Pass.
Yeah,
the proposition, the business model and proposition, it's going to be too hard to deny.
Yeah,
and you're going to have to get down and lay down.
Yeah, I saw Slow-Mo post this a while yesterday. I was wondering, would you kind of agree with this? Would you say that the new platform would quote unquote be Game Pass?
Yeah,
as opposed to
Microsoft? It is the platform.
Yeah, because a lot of people are kind of torn between this. A lot of people think the platform is strictly Xbox, but for what this announcement did yesterday, it pretty much solidified that Game Pass is pretty much the brand spanking new platform that's going to be wherever wherever they want it. And I think Phil wants it on PlayStation, but the thing is, I'm not sure they'll sign.
I told you that.
Yeah.
I told everybody laughed at me when I said Phil wants Game Pass on PlayStation, and it'll never happen.
That's why yesterday, everybody's
he never was
about the way he
and
said
saying,
it.
"Oh, I don't see these games going here or there." He kind of was like leaving it ambitious.
Systems that that support Game Pass
that has his Game Pass.
Yep,
you saw that's when you saw his fangs.
Yeah, he wants it on Nintendo.
He saw his
he's probably gonna get it on a Nintendo console, and he definitely wants it on PlayStation. But only time will tell. And that's the thing. Yeah, he wants this to be PlayStation unavoidable. He wants, and that's the thing that the drum that King and I have been beating is like he wants this thing on everywhere. He wants it to be unavoidable. He wants it. The mission of Game Pass is to get to 30 million, so that big publishers have to get on that platform to get recognized. You know?
Yo, remember when Netflix first started? It wasn't always everywhere. Now you can't live without Netflix. If you go to someone's house and they don't have Netflix, you're looking at them like, "What's wrong with you?" Something's wrong with you. You know, you could probably say, "I don't have Disney Plus," or "I don't have Hulu," or "I don't have ESPN." Cool. You don't have Netflix. What the hell's going on with you? Like, you can't. What are you financially in trouble? You know, people ask you these questions because they look at you like when I tell people I don't eat meat. Are you okay? Like, you know, these are the questions that you get when certain things happen. This is what Phil wants to happen. I saw his fangs yesterday when they asked him, "Okay, is this stuff going to be exclusive?"
Yeah, we're gonna be breaking down. Yeah, we're gonna save that, King, because that's the big second half of the show. We're gonna break down exactly what I have. All of his quotes ready to rock and roll. We're gonna read them aloud, and we're gonna break exactly down what he meant. But Crispy Bomb, let's grab your opinion on this, because you are also someone that has been a big proponent of Xbox Game Pass for a lot of reasons. And I think what this Bethesda deal does, I don't want to say it solidifies it, because it already is. The Game Pass subscription has solidified itself with the what's in there currently, what's coming from first party, and now when you add 20, you drop 20 games of anything, but specifically Bethesda games. What are your thoughts on how the value is, and then how people are now going to have a hard time not paying attention to Xbox Game Pass?
Just think about this for a second. They just dropped 20 games. They literally could have made their own service. You know what I'm saying? Like they have more than just that as well. So, you know, for that, this shows the get that they just got. And the big thing to think about is that the excitement level at Bethesda themselves, that these games are going to get a little shiny new polish on them just by going to the Series X or even the One X. I'm sure it's still gonna...
Some of them even got the boost mode.
Yes. So, and they're excited. You could see, and I know we're going to get into it, but Todd Howard was very excited about that because, you know, these people are been a part of that company forever, and they've worked on these games for what it feels like a lifetime for some of them, and for them to be able to continue a legacy with these games. And for people like me, and probably a lot of us, there's got to be at 1, 2, sometimes some people 5, you know, even maybe 10 games that they didn't play. Like me, I was sucked into Fallout when some of these other ones were coming out. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's some games there that now I don't have to spend any money. You know, just my normal subscription, and I can go and give them a shot when I never thought I would. You know what I mean? So, and that's not to say that they're probably, some of them aren't $5 or $2, but you start adding all of that up, you just got all of that in one shebang. There you go. You got it right there. You want to go try Prey out? You got it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Doom Eternal, you're kind of, you know, you don't know, like, you want to get your butt whooped. You saw Mr. Boomstick over there. He was
that was hilarious.
Well, I appreciate that, dude. I didn't even try it on hard, bro. Like,
I'm not doing that,
dude. I love a challenge, but Doom just rakes you over the coals.
I'm not doing that.
So I mean, but that's the point. Like, even like I'm interested, like, because I lost I think it was Fallout 4 or Fallout 3 disc.
Yeah,
I wonder if my save is still in the cloud somewhere.
It might be.
That, you know what I'm saying? And I gotta, like, I think Fallout 3, I didn't complete it completely. I just beat it, And I'm like, I wonder if that save is still there. So I'm interested to see people find out about that as well. I got to find the room to download it right now because that's the one thing. But I'm interested to see if that's possible.
Did you pick up the memory card yet?
I've been trying to get the Series X, dude. I've been trying hard, but I've been trying to get the bundle. I've been waiting because I'm like, if I get a card, I get a card, and then all of a sudden the bundle is the only thing there, then I have 2 cards, and I don't think I need to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You don't. Yeah.
I'm trying to wait on anything next gen right now because if one of those bundles is like $800, but it comes with a card and maybe an extra controller, I'm down for that. You know what I mean? At that point. So I'm just gonna wait it out and hope for the best.
They pop open inside the Microsoft Store every once in a while. Like yesterday, I was on picking up an extra controller because the Crimson Red controller became available yesterday. So I jumped on the store and I purchased the controller. And, it's free shipping and stuff like that. Same with the console. And they had the Series S and that was in my cart. I didn't need it anymore, so I took it out of my cart. I was like, hopefully somebody else can get it. But you got to check the store every once in a while.
You'll definitely be surprised. Real quick, before I get to Big Cloud, I got to catch up on some of the super chats. As we close in on 650 people watching live, welcome to today's Breakfast with Boom. Hopefully you are enjoying the Killer Instinct gameplay. It's one of my favorite fighting franchises that absolutely needs a revival. This footage is from the Xbox Series X, and this was a game that was released in 2013. So the game is 8 years old and still looks as good as it does. Sin Vendetta drops an additional very generous $5 super chat and says Ninja Turtles are like fingerprint because are like a fingerprint because everyone has a different favorite. Also, Raphael is king. I love it. We have Geezer Prime, dude. Thanks so much. He drops an additional $10 super chat and says, "Can't wait for FPS boost Fallout at 60 FPS. Dope, brother." Oh yeah, dude. Fallout 3. I put about 360 hours into that game, and I would play through it again. It's my favorite Fallout of all time. Andrew Cullion drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I'm the fool who will play all of these on Game Pass and also buy the physical editions also." Hey, dude, that's not being a fool. I do the same thing. If I buy I like to buy all collectors. And let me say I buy them all anymore. I don't, but some games I'll play on Game Pass. I download it and I have the disc. Yeah, just the way it is. Okay, let me see if I can pronounce this. Cola Zogas drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Sup, Boom. Appreciate the effort you put into the show, man. Much love, Xbox gang. We are eating." Well, thanks so much for being here, brother, and thank you for the generosity. We have John Mitchell, who drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Well said, guys. You see the big picture on Game Pass." Yeah, I've been there since day one. Bay Area drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Questions for the panel. Do you think Xbox will allow PlayStation and Nintendo natively download their games, or would Game Pass be a streaming app like xCloud?" I think it would be a streaming app like you would get it a Hulu or a Netflix. That's how I think it would be. Shadow Ravager drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "King, the Knees Collection Day." Oh no, it's Knees Collections Day. Big Cloud, let me go to you next.
Yes,
look,
sir.
This is a big deal for Xbox. But I think it's a bigger deal to wonder whether or not this is becoming such a phenomenon that the other big parts of the gaming space in Nintendo and Sony are going to have a hard time denying Xbox Game Pass. Who do you think it goes to first?
Honestly, I think I don't forget what episode it was, but I know King was here. But I think we all talked about it was COVID for the most part. Mm-hmm. COVID has been like the biggest, really, you think about it, that's been like the biggest booster for this entire service in a weird sense. Everybody's home; they don't have access to these games, so that's kind of where I see it as. But when it comes to just a long-term vision of this, like a lot of people are saying, do you see these games coming to PlayStation? King did bring that up before too. Mm-hmm. I honestly do see it happening. As far as it being a streaming service, I'm not really quite so sure about it being streaming. It wouldn't surprise me. The reason why I say it doesn't surprise me if it's more than just a streaming version of this is because it goes back to what I said before. This is a brand spanking new PlayStation. all the OGs that made the PlayStation 4 what it is are pretty much essentially gone. So the opportunity, the window of opportunity pretty much is there if they ever wanted to explore it, if you were to put it in layman's terms. So, and you think about it, since Jim Ryan's taken over, PlayStation's done a lot more stuff that you never thought you would ever see them do.
Yes. Yeah, I will say that for sure.
So, this is it.
Well, I mean, listen, again, great points across the board there, BitCloud, and I agree. And I do think that you're onto something with Jim Ryan doing some different things. I think that the old guard is gone, and I think a lot of what you're seeing is the transition of different ideologies at Sony. A perfect example of seeing some of their bigger titles go to PC. Hearing Jim Ryan actually tell the world that the PlayStation gamers are just not enough.
What did he say? He said a whole slate. Is that what he said? That was his wording. The whole slate are coming to PC. If you're that open to PC, what else would you be willing to put those games or open up?
It does make you scratch your head. Yeah. Well, listen, I put it this way. I own multiple copies of Horizon Zero Dawn. I always have it digitally. I have the physical edition because I bought the collector's edition. But I would tell you this: if it ever came to Xbox or a way to play it on Xbox, I would probably buy it there too. BitCloud, let's get your opinion on this. This is a big deal for Xbox Game Pass. Already the service is just busting out with large amounts of games. People's backlogs are literally imploding as we speak. But they dropped 20 games today. How big of a deal is that for Game Pass? And will we see a surge in new subscribers?
Okay. So there's like so many ways I can look at this. I'll answer the first part. You said, will there be a surge of new subscribers? I honestly hope so. I hope so. A lot of dudes say they're willing to buy into it now because of these games. I seriously hope so. It's weird that me and Badbit actually tweeted about, I think it was Dishonor, Badbit.
Fuck yeah, you need
the
to play
fact that we had to tweet that out and say, guys, we seriously hope you support Dishonored. It's really telling about a lot of things in this community. Now, as far as them doing this and what they're doing with the games, 20 games, cool. It's cool. They got their games. I said this before we even got to hear, before we got confirmation that they would be exclusive or not. I said, let them have it. I could care less. That's what's up. Have it. But man, let me tell you, man, there's been a lot of, and I use this word loosely because there's been a lot of cap. A lot of people who claim they beat these games, have been interested in these games for the longest. And when you ask that simple question, can you show receipts? They don't. They never do it. They don't want us to do it. They never played these games. Again, it's not about them. It's just about the narrative that I see being pushed around. I see it everywhere. It doesn't matter what chat you go to. You can go to a PlayStation-centric channel, an Xbox-centric channel. Dudes will say, "Oh, these games are exclusive now. What's your big deal? I'll be playing this." And I'm sitting just going, "Listen, I seriously hope so. I really do. I'm getting tired of narrative just being pushed. I really am. Play the games, enjoy them."
Yeah, play these games, enjoy them. That's like we were having this discussion on our Discord of like, of what how do we feel about Xbox game or Bethesda becoming first party, and all of us were just like, okay, like Xbox needed a big first party arm, they got it. Good for them. Like, I'm still gonna play PlayStation because those are the games that I prefer, but like, this is fine. This is fine by us. We have the same energy kept. I think one of our buddies, Jedi Master Ren, said something somewhere along the lines of like, and if that pushes people into the ecosystem, that pushes people into the ecosystem. How does that affect me?
If they got that quality on lock and they push these crazy bangers with this new move, and they really do it, you know what that's going to do? That's going to set an example to Sony to step up and match. So again, I don't know why people get upset about this. I really don't.
I don't understand either. And like, PlayStation fan to PlayStation fan here. It's awesome to see that, is something that I've echoed on the last week's show. Like, it's awesome to see that Xbox and PlayStation are now, when you look at their catalogs, so different from each other. That's really awesome to see. Like they're not trying to copycat each other. They're doing separate things. And like when it comes to like Game Pass on a PlayStation, sooner or later that's gonna happen. And I just it's gonna happen eventually. It's just them striking the right deal. That's all it's going to take. Money talks.
Yeah,
bullshit
Sony's
walk.
taking their sweet time. They're easing their way into this
Yeah.
situation. Like that's
And
kind of
Sony's last console.
What's
You said
that?
it's their last console.
This is their last console.
You see,
Yeah,
it
we
as a
always
last-
say that every generation.
No. This is their last console.
You think this one's the
They have
last
no
one?
choice now. Let me
Do
explain.
you think like you mean as the next console? You mean like Apple
I
TV?
believe this is their last console.
So you don't see. So you
Wow.
see the next one probably like a Roku box type of thing.
No,
You said
I just believe that this is their last console. I
don't
believe they're
think
going to go full developer. And okay, and
Mhm.
you're going to probably say, no, King. Everything I said has been right so far. Now, and I got my receipts. I say this to say I don't see a space. I see Nintendo never bowing, ever. And they won't. They don't have to. If Sony ever did say, okay, Game Pass can be released on our console, that is a complete admit to defeat. And I honestly believe it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. But this is what Sony would have to do to change the fortunes, right? They would have to match Game Pass head on with a PlayStation Now service with day and date. They will have to match them, and they will have to buy developers. Now, this is what Microsoft.
Didn't we talk about this before? No, I mean interrupt you, bro. But yeah, no,
but this is what Microsoft did. This is the distinct difference with the ZeniMax deal. And I was analyzing the deal, and I'm analyzing everything that they did before. Before they purchase individual developers that they can manage, right? With this big acquisition, they keep using the word partnership. Keep using the word partnership. Keep using the word partnership. All right. In this partnership, ZeniMax never gave up their distribution arm. They are still a producer, distributor, and developer. They, under this new umbrella, will be owned wholly by Microsoft, but will run independently in a distribution arm, in the developing arm, and in a producer arm. Owned by Microsoft. That means Microsoft doesn't have to micromanage these teams.
Right.
They can work on the teams that they did acquire, and Matt Booty is working with those teams as far as Obsidian and Ninja Theory and those teams, because they did not have a distribution arm. They didn't have a producer arm. They were just a developer.
Yeah, it goes back when we talking about Sony, when they had like different districts for their development. That was Sony Japan, Sony London,
and they started consolidating.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
They went through, what was it, globalization?
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So what Microsoft did was not only just acquire ZeniMax and Bethesda and these games. What they did was broaden their reach. They are able to if you're a boxer, you're able to box southpaw and you're able to box orthodox. That means you're ambidextrous. You can go with either hand. They're able to do that now. Before they were doing it with one hand. Now they're able to have this whole section working on games, distributing games, doing quality control with games, and doing all this stuff with not too much oversight. You understand what I'm saying? Sony would have to match and do the same. They would not have to just purchase developers. They would have to purchase distribution arms, producers, and developers, an arm that can actually work with them in getting these games out without them micromanaging. And I think that's the hardest part. And if you can't match Microsoft in this area, I believe that spells doom. In my opinion.
What I say to you on ILP? I said if you give them an inch, they'll what?
Take a yard.
There you go. So I mean, it literally comes back to just what you're seeing in front of you. Like everything. I'm talking for Sony too. Like Sony's energy is completely you already see it. It's
Yeah.
drastically different from like let's say 2016. Remember that E3 with the orchestra?
Yeah.
It's completely different
But
type of
the
energy.
different people is in charge. But also,
Yep.
I say this to say, now all the people, all the developers, and boom, I want you to attest to this. In your DMs, the people that they're talking about acquiring have a distribution arm.
Yes. You know something.
see?
You're absolutely onto something, because here's the thing. If you listen to the way Matt Booty and Phil Spencer talk about this deal, they talk about Bethesda being a part of Microsoft in the first party, but they still talk about it like it's its own entity. And there's a massive reason for that. There's a reason because of exactly what Microsoft is doing. They are currently handling the studios that are in-house first party, right?
Thank you.
Now you have Bethesda running this, who have identical divisions. They are one under one, a big umbrella, but they are handling the day to day. The next, quote unquote Bethesda leveled acquisition, which we know are coming, are going to be in the same way, where they're going to keep the distribution arm. They're going to keep all of everything is going to stay the same. So each individual cog could work together to spin the engine, but they are going to have their own parts.
Yes. And it makes it more palatable for somebody to be acquired without losing their identity. Like if it's a Capcom type of situation and Capcom looks over and says, okay, what do you offer me? This is what we offer you. See what we did for ZeniMax? ZeniMax is running under their own autonomy. They're distributing through their own resources with our help and our financial backing and our oversight. This turns the game. Like I was looking at it, and I was looking at it from a business proposition and saying what each does for each. And I said, this is more than just acquiring developers. This is acquiring individuals. It's like making a clone of yourself. You understand that you're able to send out to do work without worrying and knowing that it's going to get the job done, because ZeniMax has a track record of delivering games. Some say, a little broken here and there.
It's been quality control. That's always been their issue.
That's the problem,
that's the
right?
issue. That's the thing that my biggest fear for them is
but
just
is it
like
money?
No, not the money. It's the quality.
I'm talking about, is it money that takes away from the fact that they're able to do quality control and send some people over from Microsoft? Okay, well, now you don't have to worry about the crunch. Right. Because your game's getting inside Game Pass and they're going to live that way, and you can distribute these games this way. I'm just saying,
we can't afford another Cyberpunk. That's for sure. Like
I don't think that ever happened on this side.
We can't afford that.
I don't. I think Cyberpunk was its own entity within itself, and I think it built itself too big to fail, and it actually failed. In that.
You know what? Let me just get Joe's final opinion on this, and we're going to move to the big topic of the show, because we have a massive one to cover. Joe, how elevated is the value of Game Pass now that they've literally added just about every Bethesda title, and what's not there is eventually going to be coming in the next couple of days?
Yeah, pretty big. Again, this is Microsoft. So Microsoft's end game is all about making Game Pass inevitable. That's their big play here. Their mission is to get to 30 million. They think Bethesda is the way to get them to 30 million. That's the big question mark. And how, after that question mark is then crossed off, it's now how do you keep those people there, right? So, whatever acquisition's next for Microsoft, the brand now is Game Pass. It has been from the get-go. I remember almost a year ago me saying, like, this is the Xbox Series X is a great way to actually advertise for the thing you actually want to sell, which is Game Pass, right? That was really the introduction to a lot of casual audiences that really just come around once a cycle to see what everybody's looking at to advertise Game Pass. And honestly, it's done a really good fucking job. So to me, Game Pass's goal is to get every big developer publisher on this service so that people don't leave that service, so that the service continues to grow, because they definitely want an Apple situation, or sorry, not Apple, Disney Plus situation where like in less than a year, you're at 100 million, right? Like they really want to hit those marks. So
you know what's interesting to your point?
I think they do. Yeah.
Well, I just to add to that fantastic point about the Disney Plus, you see, Disney was having a problem getting people to subscribe long term because there were no bangers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
the biggest argument?
So what happens? Right. The Mandalorian season 1 was great, right?
Yep.
Right. But season 2 was greater, and they rolled right from season 2 into WandaVision. Now, the WandaVision, your mileage may vary on that, but next week is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. As soon as that ends, Loki. So now they're starting to get the quote unquote bangers. And what happened with WandaVision? They crossed 100 million subscribers, and they originally projected that to hit in 2024.
And that's the coolest thing. I mean, you could attribute it to the Rona or anything, but you can also take that as like, look, Game Pass is great right now. It's fucking fantastic. Wait till the new games come out. And I get it. That's always like a ploy that you see people on Twitter use, like, just wait. But like, it's already good right now. It's already great. It's already the best value in gaming.
To put it like this,
comes out, wait till Fable comes out.
We were all singing a different tune in terms of the quality. That's for sure. Of game.
Exactly. So like, again, it echoes my thing of like both both brands are in terrific spots. Like right now, just breaking, the PlayStation 5 is the fastest selling console in the US, beating the Nintendo Switch. PlayStation's in a good place. Right now, look, Game Pass is on the fast track of being the premier gaming. It is the premier gaming service, but then, tenfold. So like, they're both in excellent spots. And I think that, Phil wants Game Pass on even more things, and we will see those things come into fruition. And as a PlayStation gamer, my main thought is this is fantastic, because now it makes, Jim Ryan actually go, okay, let's take a look at our service. Like we were talking about yesterday, right? Like, PlayStation doesn't have the luxury or the supply like Xbox has to make these huge risks. So they're really looking at Xbox going, okay, is this working? And how are they making it work? We can do the same thing, but on a smaller scale. So I could definitely see them in the next few months bolster PlayStation Now, not to make it mirror Game Pass, because it doesn't necessarily have to, but to make it a comparable service so that they can also make some money at the same exact time. So like for me, it's awesome, because you're seeing companies now hopefully going tit for tat to get people onto their ecosystems. And when companies spend money for consumers, consumers win. So that's the main gist here. We're all eating, man.
No, absolutely. So,
and play Dishonored 1 and 2.
Please play.
I am downloading it.
Play, yes, you're gonna freaking love.
And I
Dishonored
just want to bring up
good.
one point. There are 373 games in Game Pass right now. Just think about that.
Crazy!
Wow.
Remember when it was only it'd be 100
like
games
100
a month?
373.
Come on,
wow, that is
that
pretty
was the thing,
ridiculous.
though. That was
My
meme.
son almost passed out last night. Well, this morning when he saw the video. Shout out to Microsoft and their because everybody said they don't promote. They have been promoting this ever since the acquisition happened last week. I saw promotions with Falcon and Winter Soldier that's tied into Microsoft promotions.
Yes,
I've seen the Series S accolades trailer. I've seen the Series X accolades trailer. I've seen the Bethesda welcome to welcome home
That was dope, by the
trailer.
way. Gave me
Right.
goosebumps.
Exactly.
Gave me goosebumps because they're showing Xbox IPs on the display screens of
Yes.
Bethesda games. It was just very well done. King, I'm going to come to you first on this one.
And the biggest thing that I did see, though, that they didn't waste an opportunity with the baseball, with MLB The Show. They actually had a trailer and a little animation puppet show.
Yeah, the puppet show was dope.
Right, that they did for this. But I mean, before we thought that marketing with Microsoft was either hit or miss or they was tone deaf. And I don't believe so now. I believe actually Aaron Greenberg and the team is stepping up. And I just want to say kudos to them for taking the opportunity to hit these marks that they're supposed to be hitting around this time while the iron is hot. I just see it, and usually you see Sony take the opportunity, and Sony takes the lead, and Sony is great with their marketing, and they're always doing this stuff. And we've always said that they needed to step up. They're stepping up, just like, giving a nod to them, a tip of the hat to these guys, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And real quick, let me just catch up on some of the super chats, folks. We got 738 people here. This is madness. I mean, again, this is a small channel. No, I would have never guessed we can get this many people here. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to not only choose Breakfast with Boom, but also check out Double Barrel Gaming. But let me catch up on some of the super chats, and we'll get right into the main crux of the conversation. Our brother Everborn Saga drops a $2 super chat and says, "What's up, my brothers? Just got here. What I'd miss? Well, you missed a lot, dude. But thanks so much for being here." Okay, see, this is what drives me crazy with this chat. Hold on. We have Tony Bryant drops a very generous $5 super chat. Tony, thanks for being here, brother. He says, "I forgot how great Vegas was." Talking about New Vegas.
Yeah.
We just need some FPS boost. Runs great on the series. And Little Man, though. Yeah, listen.
Little Man is nice.
I love what they did. I hope that Vegas Splinter Cell. I wish we had a Splinter Cell. New Vegas comes out because if they just do a remaster of Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2, I would be a happy camper. I spent hours playing that for sure. And I think what he's talking about, maybe he's talking about New Vegas, talking about Fallout. That's one of my favorites. Juan Ponce drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "In my opinion, the only buy that makes sense for Xbox is Capcom. It's the only big publisher that has IPs that can run itself, and it's the best way to get into Japan. Either that or buying 2 or 3 small studios. Listen, please buy Capcom, because then we get Dino Crisis for sure." Daniel Hayes, a generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $5 super chat. Says, "Good morning, Boom and chat. Remember the Ninja Turtle cereal? I do." He says, "I got the Leonardo bowl that was inside the box. Dude, that's dope. He's my favorite turtle." Yeah, I like Leonardo as well, man. But I've always been a Donatello dude because he's smart and he beats the crap out of people with a stick. Nothing wrong with that.
The meme.
Tamaz S drops a very generous $5 super chat. Said, "I don't think a Game Pass will go PlayStation or Nintendo. Most Game Pass titles can't run on Switch. Game Pass will eat into PlayStation sales." Awesome show, Boom.
The cloud.
The cloud.
Yeah,
Loyal
the cloud.
Patriot drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Remember that Microsoft just got ID Tech Engine too." Yes, that's going to be in some of their first party. Scrub Nurse, "Hey, dude, hopefully you're doing well and staying safe." He drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, "Xbox showed us what is happening with the intro into the show. Xbox plus Bethesda, and then the Xbox logo slides into the background and Bethesda's in front." Yeah, dude, it was dope. I just love what they did. My good brother that I met at E3 2019, Gotham Guy, drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "Hey, Boom and friends, I'm loving the show this morning, but I got to go with Michelangelo because who on the panel didn't channel their inner Bruce Lee as a kid and cut up broomstick cut up their mother's broomstick to make nunchucks." Yeah, dude, listen.
My mother would kill me.
Yeah, my mother would have been.
My mother would have kicked my ass.
Well, Joe, you understand what the flying chancleta means, and if you're Hispanic, you understand that my mother was vicious with that. She had a good left hook, and that slipper would fly across the room and find its way into my back if I decided to run away like a coward.
They didn't take it.
Mom
But
had
listen,
the body
folks.
shot, bro. That's crazy.
Oh, dude, she was ridiculous. And listen, my mom. When I tell my mom I talk about this, she goes, "Yeah, people think I abused you." I thank goodness that my mother beat the shit out of me when I got out of line because it made me a better man. There's no doubt.
If you're listening to Wilmy Hood show when I was on it, y'all know what the rolling pin is about. And listen, let me tell you something. I was a very tall, strong young man. My mother used any means necessary, Malcolm X.
Yo, you know it's funny, especially if you're taller than them. They literally hit you with anything they can find. It ain't nothing off limits.
No, absolutely. And you know what? We're all better men for it for sure. But listen,
Yes,
let's get into why most of the 700 plus people here that are going to eventually hit that like button came, and that's to talk about what was broken down yesterday. Of course, Thursday afternoon, both Xbox and Bethesda sat down for a roundtable discussion. Now, to be honest, I was talking with Cognito before the show went live. We were on the fence on what was going to be said. We had no idea. To be honest, to be fair, I thought it potentially could be just a circle jerk. To be honest, what I did not expect, what I did not see coming is 30 seconds into the opening after Pete Hines, did the introduction, he went right for the juggler. And he called out Phil Spencer specifically to talk about what Bethesda first party means, what it looks like, and how it's going to be incorporated. So I'm going to read off some of the quotes, and we're going to go right to King on this, who's going to have a tremendous amount to say. This is coming directly from Phil Spencer. He says this. So obviously, I can't sit here and say every Bethesda game is exclusive because that's not true. There are contractual obligations that we are going to see through, as we always do in every one of these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to go and support those games on the platforms that they are currently on. There are communities of players. We love those players, and we're going to invest in them. And even in the future, there might be things that are either contractual things or legacy on different platforms that we'll go and do. But if you're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is that this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. And that's our goal. That's why we're doing this. That's the root of the partnership we're building and the creative capability we will be able to bring to market for our Xbox customers is going to be the best it has ever been for Xbox. King, what can I say? It gave me goosebumps reading it. I've read it half a dozen times already, read it again live on the air. What statement is Phil Spencer making to the millions of Xbox players and potentially new Xbox customers?
Okay, well, what he did was establish Xbox Pride. And, a lot of people, if you're an Xbox owner, you can't say for a long time that you were, standing with your chest poked out, a little bit. You had Sony walk past, you be like, oh yeah, there they go again. Xbox Pride. What he was telling you was that these games, these exclusive games that people are touting, we know that exclusives bring you to the platform. Exclusives is the reason why you choose the platform. Exclusives is the reason why you stay on the platform, the reason why you show brand loyalty. For a long time, it was Gears, Forza, and Halo that showed, Xbox Pride. And people said, we need more. We need more. Right. And now you have a ton of other games and IPs that will be on the platform that you will get that more from. Now, a lot of these games you've played already, you've purchased already, you have already established these games. So we're talking about future IPs. Now, what Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer was laid out to you. I mean, let's not fool ourselves. That whole thing was a scripted type of thing. They knew what questions were going to be asked, and they got down to the nitty gritty very fast, very early to get all the BS out of the way for the individuals that wanted to hear this. They wanted you to know from the beginning, they will honor all deals. All the deals that were already set up in place, Deathloop, You got that, baby. You paid for it. That's you. We're not going to be fools and take you to court and try to get a game we're going to get anyway that's going to be released in Game Pass that our subscribers will get a chance to play for technically free or without a giant fee in the beginning. This is what you want. You got it. This is yours. We're going to honor those deals. Those games are going to still come this way anyway. Now, future IPs, those games, those exclusive games that you're looking for, those new games, they're going to be on Xbox, and you can only find them in the Xbox ecosystem unless you have Game Pass on your device, right? So you want to get out? Have it on your device, or have an Xbox situation, have it on your PC. Game how you want to game. Have it on your cell phone. Game how you want to game. But you're going to make sure that you're inside an Xbox Game Pass situation in order to game that way. And that's when I saw the fangs. That's when I saw the teeth. That's when I saw exactly who Phil is. I told you guys before, he's nice. He's the greatest guy in the world, but he wants to win. That competitive nature, that competitive heart, it was on display 100% right then, right there. And dudes know now what it means. All this, and I see now people trying to twist it in the background. Well, he did say, some of these titles, listen, those legacy titles that he's talking about, you know how you build up in Elder Scrolls, your world, your character, your online persona. He's not going to take that away from you. Those games will still be there. Those DLCs will still be launched on your platform. You will still be engaging the same way you want to engage. But those new IPs, you have to cross the street. You have to come over this way. That's what that's all about. So I know everybody still wants to hold out hope beyond hope, but we have Starfield to come our way. Sorry, bucko. You're going to have to get down and lay down. Get that Game Pass and get over there where you can get it at. Now, I don't want to buy an Xbox. I'll never buy an Xbox. Get yourself on the PC, buddy.
I'll say,
get over there.
PC. That goes right back to the conversation we said earlier. What is the new platform, King? Is it Xbox?
Pass.
It's Game Pass.
It's Game Pass. Yeah.
For the longest time. It's Game Pass.
And you know something? What's interesting is King and I we've been talking about this for years. Yeah. And we have sat back and watched the boos. Hell, we've even booed, right? Yeah. But when Phil was got up on the E3 stage when he first got promoted, and he said, this is what my vision is to fix the hardware issue that we're currently with the Xbox One, right? Definitely. We're going to fix our services, and then we're going to attack our first party problems. And I've said this before on numerous shows. Turning a ship the size of Xbox is hard to do, and it takes time. Now, again, we're gamers. Most gamers will admit, maybe some won't admit, we are stubborn MFs, and we have patience of a paperclip. Right? Yeah. We want it when we want it. That's the reality of it. And everything Phil has said has come to fruition in one way or another. And now this deal just basically, again, maybe I'm a Phil Spencer loyalist. You can call me. Maybe you can even call me a suck ass. That's fine too. But I can tell you why I'm a fan of him, because everything he talked about, he has accomplished. He has the bucket list keeps getting checked off left and right. And we don't know what the future holds, but it's certainly definitely bright. I want to bring in Crispy Bomb on a conversation. Crispy, you saw what happened. You saw the way social media erupted. Now, I'm not talking about the toxic MFs, because every community has them, and I put them on the pay no mind list. The minute I see you saying ponies and Xbots, you get muted, because I don't have time for this. It's not a bad word like being racist. It's not. It's just a stupid word. But if you say that, then I can't interact with you, because you have a one-sided mentality. But I want to get to what Phil Spencer said. And he basically, I think, in my opinion, Crispy, and I want to get I can't wait to hear your opinion on this. I think he needed to say what he said. What were your takeaways with that entire 60-minute roundtable event that happened yesterday?
I'll tell you, Phil's swinging a big stick over there. But yeah, I felt like he almost like maybe they were gonna like beat around the bush a little more again. And I think he heard the community. The guy does pay attention to Twitter, by the way, people. He might not ever like or follow you, but he does pay attention to good points, and a lot of us have been saying like you gotta be a little bit more clear in what we're saying, because and I'm sure he's probably sick of seeing all the BS, so I feel like he was just like, let's just make this clear, and he did that in a way that you saw the smirk on his face. He was like, yeah, that's right. So can we stop now? Can we move on to bigger and better things? And the beauty of it is he did it in front of these people, which is just great. I mean, for them to all be together, and for not getting scowls or different reactions, they're all on board. They're ready to do this, and that's a huge thing, because you can't bring in a partner like Bethesda, the size of them, and people feel animosity about certain things. And I think it does come down to Game Pass. I think Game Pass is really, Bethesda seeing this as a platform to make experiences that they may not have been able to do. And you even heard it from Todd. He was very adamant about having this opportunity to really create things that they felt that they could not do before. And I think that's just going to develop into great games. And I think Phil knows it. And I think that everyone that sat there knows it. And I can't wait, because, if you read their body language, they were busting each other's chops. It was one of those experiences where it feels like, they were like all together like we are. It was like like we're all like brothers, and we're just, BSing with each other. And that's kind of what we do on almost every podcast in a way. We just, bring in gaming, and that's our, our crux of what we experience in gaming, and how we look at it. And I feel like they're on the same level, even in their ideals. And you really saw that. And you see Phil just, kind of lighten up a little bit, and, knowing that, what's to come is going to be incredible. So I just makes me excited, and, you can see the excitement in them themselves, which is just even better.
You know what I was real happy to see there? I mean, obviously Pete Hines, right? He's a monster presence, right? Todd Howard, monster presence. Of course, Phil Spencer,
we're best friends now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's what we have on the show. Hopefully, we're gonna use. I'm going to use you to get him on the show. So, I mean, hopefully that works. But
That's fair.
Of the four bigs that we saw there, right? Aaron, Phil, Todd, and of course Pete Hines. My favorite part of it was Sarah Bond, because of what she represents as the new blood of Microsoft. I think what she currently does, a lot of people don't know about. People just see Phil, they see Aaron, they see Larry, right? And that's who they see. But she is responsible for some big time things behind the scene. And I love the fact that they had her there. She couldn't physically be there, obviously, for the whole travel restrictions thing, but she was there nonetheless, and she was there in a big way. Joe, let me get your opinion on this. For someone from a marketing standpoint, right? You have a marketing degree. You are, obviously, you're all about the persona that a company is going to put out there. This did a lot yesterday for Xbox, but a lot not just for the Xbox community. I think what they did yesterday was really put the exclamation point on the dedication that Phil Spencer and that team has for the brand. And even if you are a diehard Sony player, and all you have and have had is a PlayStation, or let's say, for instance, back you left the 360, you didn't get the Xbox One because of the, what happened with that, and you jumped into PlayStation, and now that's your ecosystem. I think they did a lot to bring people back. What were your thoughts about Phil's, the way he broke it down, what exclusives mean?
Hey, Boom.
Yes.
Dreadpool's here.
Oh, okay. Let me get him in here. Thank you.
What up, Dread? What's going on? So the one thing that I liked about that address was how informal it was. We don't get enough of that and it's for several reasons. A lot of gaming folks just don't want to deal with the toxicity and are kind of afraid to kind of show you how things actually work because we're just a paranoid bunch and we wouldn't believe them in the first place. So it's really cool to see that, you know, they're all there sitting down talking. All of them have known each other for years for the most part.
Yeah.
All of them are you know, for whether work colleagues but friendly. And that's what I really liked was it cut out all the bullshit. So like what P. Hines told us could have been total bullshit, but he was just like, yeah, no, I just winged it. Like I have my bullet points, but just winged it. We were just talking, and you could see that there was a very, very clever editing work by the teams as well. They were having fun with each other. It was casual but informative, and it wasn't for PlayStation folks. It's not for you, or sorry, it's not for me. It's not for Big Cloud. It's to let Bethesda fans know that nothing changes here. That's the biggest thing I took away from that. That was the big.
Man.
It's about their culture and retaining it and giving you the confidence that this isn't an Activision Blizzard scenario where the culture eventually erodes. Like we were talking about earlier, it's awesome to know that Bethesda, doesn't have to answer to Microsoft in terms of what games they want to make. They're going to make the games that they want to and continue to. So that's really what this thing was about. And yeah, I really like Sarah Bond, and I really would like to see her in front of the camera more. She's a terrific voice. I like how articulate and clear that she is, and you can see that every word she's using is deliberate yet clear. And as a marketing PR person, I very much appreciate that, and I appreciate Pete Hines as well. Just out of a communications side of thing, I was really digging that. Of how laissez-faire was, but it was awesome to show, because if you're an Xbox fan, this thing also spoke for you, because for 6+ years you've had the narrative, and rightfully so, that y'all don't have the games, right? Like you guys had 6 studios for the longest time, or around there, a handful.
Yeah, it was bad for a while.
Yeah, and it was Gears, Forza, Halo.
Gears, Forza, Halo. Yeah, that was it.
And so to see Microsoft go, you know what? We hear you. We know that's a thing. And today we're changing it. Today we have our own set of awesome IP and teams. Fuck yes, dude. That's what we want to see as gamers. And again, it goes back to, them actually taking the feedback, learning what they've done wrong, learning what they've done right. And that's what you kind of saw here in full force. Yesterday's thing was very much a celebration of Xbox and Bethesda, and them coming together and reassuring the audience that things weren't going to change much for them in terms of everything, but like these games ain't coming to PlayStation. That's it.
Definitely a new chapter.
Yeah, it's a new chapter. It was awesome to see. And honestly, there needs to be more of those conversations and less of this bullshit hype thing that we constantly see in the industry. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by the Gears gameplay. I like it, but I would much rather, and I know I'm very much the minority when thinking this, much rather have devs sit and talk about their game rather than like this circle jerk of hype and then us getting our expectations out of whack.
Right.
I really like what I saw.
Showing. Yeah.
I
kind of prefer like we saw with remember how we saw it back in 2016 with the Opera, where they were showing like the controller in their hands playing it while we got to experience it the same way. That's kind of the ideal way I would want all shows, honestly.
Well, you know what? Let me paint this question for you specifically to BitCloud. BitCloud, one of the I think the Achilles heels, and I've said this publicly, and until I'm proven wrong, and I was proven wrong, for Microsoft has been how they handle a message, how they handle an event. Yesterday's event was on the highest level of some of the best PlayStation ones I've seen. And I thought what they did, the presentation was spot on. The messaging for me was completely in front and understanding. No side paneling or backpedaling. It was
No
right there
cringy
in your face.
jokes.
What do you, first of all, what are your thoughts of the presentation? But more importantly, what the confirmation means for Xbox that, you know, if you have Game Pass on your service, you will be able to play these games. If you don't, you will not.
Yeah, so you said this earlier about check boxes, right? Like they've been checking, like Phil's done. One of the biggest issues for Game Pass at the time was the fact that it had games on there that pretty much 90% of us have all played, right? That kind of was the didn't have no must-haves. With the whole Bethesda acquisition, now they can throw those games in their day and date with their other things. And you know what's interesting too? It takes pressure off of games like Halo.
Yes.
It takes games off of pressure like Gear, or it takes pressure off of games like Gears and Forza. It allows them to have more, and it branches out. Now, going back to the show was like, I seriously, like, that's kind of been the meme with Xbox, right? Because when I think of an Xbox show, it always comes back to that Inside Xbox type of show they used to do back in the day.
Absolutely.
That was the meme. Like, it was always a cringy joke. It didn't feel like they cared enough to make it important. This right here, they were to the point. They were transparent. They pretty much showed that, yeah, we are, you know, we're ready. We're ready to show whatever we got to show later on. Like, we got y'all in the future. And that's the new, like, change in tension, I guess you can say, about them going into it.
What I took away from the show is, and it wasn't even about us, to be honest with you. It was to quiet the conversation that was online with stuff that they couldn't say. Yeah. All right. And it was more of, because when Sony gets developers, and this is not just a developer grab, guys. When Sony gets developers, they don't have no shows or nothing. You know, okay, we acquired Sucker Punch or whoever, and that's it. You know,
we didn't have PlayStation Experience. Remember that PlayStation Experience Couch Talk they did last time with Quantum Dreams? We never had one like that since then from PlayStation. So that's the thing. Yeah,
it wasn't no big welcoming mat. This was to show other developers you don't have to be afraid. We're not the big bad beast. You know, we're not the big bad wolf, because a lot of talk before, if everybody can remember, was Microsoft gets you and they take control. Microsoft gets you and they want to run the show. Microsoft gets you and you no longer get a chance to do or whatever you want to do. Like, what was that game from Ninja Theory?
Ninja Theory? Hellblade 2?
Hellblade?
No, not Hellblade. The
Monkey
game,
King?
The game that was like the Overwatch game that they had inside.
You're talking about the one by
Bleeding Edge,
right?
Yeah.
So they said, okay, so look at them. They get Ninja Theory, and look what they put out. Well, first of all, that was Ninja Theory's passion project that they put out,
and it was also made by 9 people.
Right, and Microsoft allowed them to put out their game, but this was to quell all those fears for future acquisitions. I think we'll roll out the red carpet for you. This is how it is. I think it makes it a different image in Microsoft eyes for the perception of Microsoft, opposed to just for the fans. And just to answer all those questions that were plaguing the web. Are these games exclusive? Will I have to worry about my games going to other places? Should I purchase a Microsoft platform now? Tell me now what I need to do. They answered those questions. And I believe going forward with larger acquisitions of developers, you would see stuff of this nature. I don't really think it was like more or less the show. It was just more of a conversation for developers, by developers, for developers, and producers and stuff like that, and distribution.
For me, it was the overall energy compared to what we're so used to. You know what I mean? That type of thing. That was the more welcoming part about it for the whole show. I thought that was really good. But I think we said this in 2018, King. I think this also comes back to that conversation we had about the killer app. Yeah, this is pretty much they answered that with flying colors, with what they got. So
what Boom and I talked about before, and what See, everybody fails to realize that they're moving in different planes all at one time. This is just one acquisition that we're talking about. And when Phil said that he wants Game Pass on devices or platforms, remember the deals with the television people.
Yeah, that's coming.
You know, the Samsungs, the cell phones, the LGs, these deals are still in place and these infrastructures are still being built. Jason Ronald on our last show, was asked the question about the server blades being updated with Series S's. And when those things start to get upgraded and you got, what is it? They were talking about, was it 1080p or 2K and 60 frames per second streaming. When that becomes a reality and that's coming through your televisions, on your cell phones, because on your cell phone you can do 720p, that's nice, but once you get to the big screen, you want it in a better resolution. I think that's when you approach other gaming consoles, be it a Sony console, being that Stadia is no longer a development state and they just using their tech. And whoever else, you can put this on different devices and have a larger resolution with a better playback, with a better response time. And I think that's when it takes off, when it's in your television. When your television ships with it inside, and all you have to do is transfer your account over
and just have a wireless controller.
Yes, this is the end game for it. That's why I said, and I don't want anybody to jump in my DMs and be upset with me when I said I believe this is PlayStation's last console. I believe it's their last console out of options.
Right.
I don't think Nintendo has the same worry at all. I just believe Sony, being that their direct competitor, Nintendo took themselves out of that whole fight. They're doing their own thing.
They've always, but you know what? For years, they've been walking to their own drum.
Right.
Also, the biggest competitor that we all talked about for Microsoft and the streaming aspect is officially done.
Yeah.
Google Stadia finished them off.
Yeah, like Google Stadia, that was like the biggest thing. Like, okay, what is Stadia gonna do? Stadia
and Amazon Luna is basically no one even talking about that.
Yeah. That's true.
Until it becomes a more viable threat. I mean, Amazon is in it's in everybody's phone. It's in everybody's house. It's ingrained in us right now. If they can capitalize, and I think they're looking on ways how to capitalize that aspect of Amazon Prime. Once they're able to do so, because my kids play on Amazon, they play those games. I don't think they play Luna. I gotta ask my son. But at this moment, it's not a viable threat, but it can be.
Yeah. No, definitely no doubt about that. I mean, listen, it is going to be very interesting to see what happens next. This is under their belt. The acquisition is done. It's official. They did the announcement through a blog post. They did the roundtable yesterday. Now it's about creating great games to add to the service. And then now, obviously, we have heard from several sources. King and I do have some of the same sources that a Bethesda level, quote unquote, acquisition is happening. I don't know if that's relatively soon or at the end of the year. I think Phil's going to have a lot to say come E3, but I definitely want to get Dreadpool's opinion on this. But before I do Dreadpool, I got to catch up on some of these super chats. There's been quite a few of them. First of all, our brother Gaming Forte is in the house. Hopefully you are finally settled in your new place. And once again, congratulations, my brother. He says this after dropping a $5 super chat. Great show, Boom. Can't wait for ILP to see King in his bag. I'm anticipating many knees to be delivered. And King is going to be in raw form this Sunday, so don't forget to tune in to ILP at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time each and every Sunday. Loyal Patriot, wow, dude, he drops an outstanding $20 super chat and says, Xbox not giving head-on versus competitors like a great military general mind. Xbox going for the supply and logistics in the background. A massive... hold on just a second, I just lost it. Sorry about that. Let me find it again. Here we go. He says, a massive flanking move by Phil and company. I expect Xbox Game Pass on smart TVs in the future. Yeah, dude, they've already made the deal with LG and Samsung, two of the biggest TV makers, and it's just going to be, eventually, it's going to be in every TV.
What I didn't
You
like
missed
that
that too,
Sony
Mark.
did was they removed PlayStation Now from their new flagship televisions. I didn't understand it. I don't know why they
Yeah.
did it, and I think that is if listen, man, if I make cars, you're gonna make sure that there's a King KOS app inside every car that you get. There's gonna be a little statue with
Yeah.
me inside the car. So if I do it, I don't understand why they removed it off of it. I think that was a terrible move, to be honest with you. I really do, and I hope Jim Ryan looks at that and says, you know what, we have to reassess that whole program, get back to that, make sure that
I can tell you
PlayStation
why.
Now is on those televisions. I don't get it.
Yeah, because they
That app- 'cause
self-released
that
it. It
app
kind of went under everybody's radar.
sucks.
Nobody really saw it coming.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they took it down because they're going to reintroduce it with a better operating system. Who knows? But Bounty
Yeah,
Boom
that's what I'm
drops an
thinking.
outstanding $2 super chat and says, "Hit that like button, fantastic show." Well, thank you for the additional super chat, my brother. Sikio Yumi drops a very generous $5 super chat and says this, if I could find it. Yeah, here we go. This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Xbox Game Pass exists. It is going to be the best, even if it's even better for Xbox PS. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a perfect quote from Phil Spencer, and I think that at the end of the day, the value proposition literally has gone through the roof. Eagles fan 76, generous friend of the show, he drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, "Remember, there's a weight to what Phil says when he said about Game Pass ecosystems that tells you something about to drop on Game Pass. Go here." Yeah, you know what? Listen, that Nintendo on his shelf during that AI summit. Some people are suggesting that's one of those those Easter eggs that Game Pass is coming to Switch. It could possibly happen. And he also drops an additional $5 super chat from Eagles fan. He says also ways to what Phil was excited to visit Tango Studios and here in the heart of Japan and an area he wants to expand in Asia. Mark what he says as clues. Indeed. But Dreadpool
Didn't Phil or didn't I'm sorry, I may cut you off, but
Yeah,
didn't
that's fine.
wasn't Microsoft supposedly going to be helping Nintendo with their online infrastructure?
I believe that
supposedly?
they're working with them closely
Yeah.
now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, like I never heard an
It's
update. Have
happening.
y'all heard anything about this? I've heard nothing.
You won't hear nothing about it until it happens. Not Nintendo.
That's the craziest thing about it. It's went crazy.
Yeah. Now, real quick, Dreadpool, first of all, welcome to the program, brother. We want to get your opinion on what happened during yesterday's roundtable. How big of a deal was the confirmation of the exclusivity for new Bethesda games? And did the Xbox community need to hear that?
Oh man, it was the nail in the coffin. You know what I mean? It was it. This is the last thing that you needed. You know, there was so much speculation going on. I mean, we've called it. We've all called it before. We've said it. You know, how many times have I put out that car analogy? I'm not buying this for my neighbors to drive around. You know what I mean? They're not going to be doing no Uber for anybody. Nah, this is my brand new Escalade for my wife. It's for my family, and this is what this is for. You know, we watch how many football players, from college, not announce where they're going, and even some of the people that are insiders don't know until they put that hat on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those same instances. You know, they could not say anything. And yet again, it was legalities. They could not say anything until it was done. Now that it's done, they had to yet again clarify things. And it's funny how they always have to clarify everything, but that's how it goes, right?
I mean, with this one, you have to. Like, real talk.
Well,
it's a publisher,
right, but that's the thing. You can't talk about it until it's done. And now it's done. The paperwork's signed, everything's official, but what did they do? They hyped it with a sit down, right?
Yeah.
They didn't just have a little Xbox news and here you go. It's on the Xbox Live Wire. It's like, who's the source? How many times we heard that? And it's like, it's Xbox is the source. So many, but it was cool to see them sit down and just BS with each other. Now you see how they are. They are one family. They were just cousins. Now they're a bigger family. You know,
Kissing cousins.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
they're a
No,
bigger
wrong
family. They're not
analogy,
distant
no.
cousins. No, not like that.
Well, no, I mean, all jokes aside, I
Oh,
mean, like
well,
I
well,
said,
good-
getting them to talk about it, have a nice sit down where it was very casual business. They were playing, were playing with each other, joking, laughing. There was a lightness to the mood of the room for sure. The production value again through the roof. The wording, the messaging was clear. Again, hats off to the moderator, Pete Hines,
Yeah.
who literally took the entire event by the horns. Even Phil's normally, I'm not saying he's never uptight. Phil's a good dude, and you can see that he's a genuine human
Oh, you
being.
mean
Like
guarded.
you can tell. But he was
Yeah.
just look at his posture. Watch it again. I've watched it twice.
Yeah.
He's sitting back in that chair, relaxed. There was no tenseness to his shoulders or even in his brain pan because Pete Hines was moderating and he led off with a whopper of a question. Phil, everyone is wanting to know what the Bethesda exclusive means, what it looks like, what it means to the community, and he just answered it in the best way he could. Like I said, this was a great day for Xbox gamers. And here's the thing: I think that what this event did personally is this is going to, and I've said this on numerous shows, King, and you'll agree with me. At some point, Xbox Game Pass could no longer be ignored by the gaming media, by other platform holders. People are going to want to get involved. This is why you're going to see Ubisoft Plus come into there. When that happens, when Ubisoft Plus comes to Xbox Game Pass, folks, it is going to be at some point. I think Jim Ryan's going to have a sit down with the board and be like, you know what? We may actually be forced, literally, to have this because they can't match it and they don't want to. He was very bullish about how he finds it to be, unattainable for PlayStation as a company. He said that. He said he doesn't understand how it works and how they can make this kind of money.
That's
Well,
a damn lie.
what's that?
Exactly.
I mean, he knows how it works. You know what he won't acknowledge is the fact that the competition has just trumped him. I mean, I understand that part. I wouldn't even acknowledge that they trump me on air. But behind the scenes, I will definitely sit down and figure out how we can crack this egg. This egg got to get cracked. And I know Jim Ryan understands what type of position he's in with 20 million subscribers. And I don't know what the total will be by the time we get off the air today, but that is a daunting task. Now, how can we crack that egg? How can we grow past this? I know that they're looking at PC as we can get added revenue from this avenue over here, but what you want to do is generate residual income without doing much effort. And that's what Game Pass is all about. All right. The biggest effort Microsoft did was, okay, when they purchased the first the developers and they had to oversee Ninja Theories, Obsidians, and of those ilk, when they did that was a lot of effort, cultivating that and going in and making sure that you don't mess up their rhythm and stuff like that. With the ZeniMax deal, the biggest thing was clearing the hurdles with the U.S. trade commissions and the European trade commissions, so you didn't have a monopoly. Once that got passed and you got through that, then it was like business as usual. All right, guys, look, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. These games are on here. Boom, make games. Those games that you have coming out, those deals, continue with those same deals, and let's get that rolling out the door. Let's get that all done.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like a seamless transition to when these games start to drop and you get to these shows. I feel like you said, it's going to be a point where they're going to have to address the issue. That's the conundrum. How do you address the issue without watching Microsoft get further inroads deeper? Because if they do make another large acquisition and it's and I believe it's a developer, producer, distribution arm, if they do that, how do we pivot to block? How do we pivot to get these games in? Because a Spider-Man is not going to stop that. A God of War is not going to stop that. how do we establish a beachfront to take away this tidal wave from coming in? Because it's going to come in once they hit a tipping point of 50 to 75 million. It's undeniable at that point in time. And then you're looking at the fact of, okay, we have to have it on our platform. And that goes to BitCloud's revenue talk when he was saying like Microsoft will be making bucks off of each PlayStation that's out there, you know, if these guys get into that service, and then that undermines your whole production of your console. So I don't understand how they do it.
Would go to
I
mean, cut you up, but quality control. I was about
no,
to say.
I mean, cut me off. I'm just saying it could be. This is a conversation amongst friends. You know, this is a conversation, you know, that we're having here. I'm just trying to view it through the eyes of business. Yeah. And if you allow entity to take over, that's like big business versus mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
That's why they won't never let Walmart in New York City.
Right. You'll never see like the quality between a mom and pop shop and like an industrialized, you know, company like Walmart is night and day. Like you see that type of stuff.
Well, but if a Walmart does get into the city, what happens to the mom and pop shops?
They lose out. Yeah, they die out. Yeah, they can't. I wouldn't say they can't meet the demand, right? I would say they just can't really compete. That's the best way to just put it. They just really can't compete because, you know, there's so many factors that play into that without. But you know, it's mostly because they can't compete on the global scale.
I put it this way: regardless of whichever way it goes, whether Game Pass shows up on a PlayStation or a Nintendo or not, the one thing I have to credit Microsoft for is when, like, so for instance, the way Nintendo does exclusives is that they pay for the game to be made. They did that with Bayonetta 2. They did that with Bayonetta 3. They did that with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. The way Sony does it is they pay for it to lock a game behind the PlayStation. They did it with Final Fantasy 7. They did it with Final Fantasy 16 for 2 years. They did it with the
Death
other
Stranding.
Death Stranding. Quite a few that they wanted for their customers.
Right.
What I love about the way Microsoft does it is that some people are like, well, how is it different than the other two? Well, it is different because it's not just locked behind the Xbox. You can play said game on your computer, on your tablet, on your phone. All right, you can play it on the S, the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X. You can now play it on your TV come this summer with the app. There are so many ways they give you. So it's exclusive in the sense it's exclusive to the Xbox PC, you know, ecosystem, but still allowing the way that you want to play can be done. Real quick, the Wise Old Gamer drops a $5 super chat and says, consoles have always been a liability for Microsoft and Sony. King says this is Sony's last console, but are we seeing the last gasp of local consoles? I don't know.
No.
I don't think so. I think you have to have the piece of hardware. I mean, if you're talking about 25 years from now, maybe, but I don't think anytime soon. But listen, folks, we're at the 2-hour mark. This has been one hell of a show. And we had over 750 people here today. That is could be a record for Breakfast with Boom. I honestly want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, not only for the unbelievable generosity through the super chats, but the fact that we had so many people here to view this small channel. I'm rolling, folks. 10K, here I come. Hopefully by E3 2021. It's a dream of mine. I have merchandise I'm going to be putting onto there. Currently, Dinero Panero is hard at work at 4 brand new T-shirts designs that I've teamed up with Teespring to bring to you. He has not revealed them to me. He's hard at work at that, and he's doing a new primetime gaming intro. That guy is. If you want work done,
between you and me, Boom, we're gonna send his kids to college.
It would be my honor to do so because his talent is undeniable. Everyone that has used him is just my God. It's just incredible. But listen,
he did my intro for King of the Statues.
I did not know.
Music I had from my own production house, but
that's dope. Yeah, that's dope. Well, listen, folks, thank you so much for being here. Please, on your way out of the theater, hit the like button and also consider subscribing to Double Barrel Gaming. Let's get with the outros. And King, we'll start with you first. Obviously, I don't know how you top last week's ILP, which, by the way, was probably one of the best shows I have ever personally watched. But this week's ILP is going to be one for the books. A COG is going to have a lot to say. Addict's going to have a lot to say. You are going to have a lot to say. And I always forget his name. My poor guy. Sovereign is going to have a lot to say. I know that this is a deal that even Sovereign, when you hear him on the air, he himself was like, I don't know about this being all exclusive. He is probably going to be like, yeah, listen, I'm shocked. And I cannot wait to hear what him and the rest of the team has to say, because it's my favorite show that I listen to weekly. King, tell everyone about King of Statues. Tell them about lordsofgaming.net, and tell everyone about the Iron Lords podcast that happens each and every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take it away.
Well, you can find me tonight on Darth Castle X, that's DCX at 9 p.m., where we talk high-value statues, also some mid-tier and low-end stuff, so you guys can see all these wonderful statues that I do have, and, KOS on Iron Lords podcast on YouTube, Sundays at 1 p.m., no football season, thank God. This weekend, we have a hellified guest. If you thought we had a fantastic guest last week, we have an incredible guest this week. So we'll be talking about his gaming history. We'll go into all the things that make him tick, and we will talk about all the news that just happened this week with this acquisition, stuff that's going forward, stuff that I haven't revealed yet, and go to lordsofgaming.net for a little bit of that insight, where we have a lot of writers that's talking about all that's going on in industry right now. A lot of people confuse us with an Xbox centric show. No, we're not.
No.
I'm the only Xbox dude there that be running around with the flag just waving it.
PC. That's funny.
But you have PlayStation dudes there. You have Addict and Addict could kill me if I say that. We have a COG with the Switch talk, and Sovereign there that definitely is a soloist. So come check us out, see what we're talking about. And I love having a great time with Boom on Fridays. Breakfast with Boom is my best time of the day. I stay up just waiting for this to happen. I didn't even know it was 2 hours. So guys, I love hanging out with you guys. I love talking shop with you guys. It's so fantastic. Y'all make the time fly.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for being here. Definitely appreciate that. BitCloud Gaming, you, my friend, have a show today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell everyone about that show, where they could reach out and strike up a conversation, and more importantly, subscribe to your YouTube channel.
The road to 10K for Mr. Boomstick. Let's make that possible, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button, share it around to everybody. Big shout out to everybody on this panel. Boomstick, you already know.
Sir.
It's always a pleasure. Crispy Bomb, Dreadpool, Mr. Badbit, and of course, my brother, Mr. King David. Like, people understand, like, people, when they see Xbox dudes and PlayStation dudes talk, they think there's got to be like this crazy head-to-head type of thing. Nah. When I talk to this guy right here, I'm literally talking not to a friend. I'm talking to my brother. We are legit gamers who play these games. We don't cat for nothing. I'm telling you right now, we tell it how it is. So thank you, as always, King, for being you. One of the realest dudes I know out here. So thank you. And you guys can find me on my channel, Big Club Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. And RGT Podcast, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Definitely going to talk about this. And also, what games we actually playing out here in this time. So, have a good one.
Well, thanks so much for being here, brother. Definitely appreciate that. Mr. Badbit, why don't we get you on out of here? Tell everyone about the trophy room. Tell them about the new episode you dropped with Kyle today. Yesterday. That was absolutely fantastic. And more importantly, where could people subscribe and listen offline through their favorite podcast service?
Yeah, you could check out the Trophy Room, a PlayStation show over on YouTube. This week, we do talk about a little bit of Xbox. We do talk about a little bit of Bethesda. And let me tell you, Kyle's reaction to everything, I was surprised. I was very surprised. Also shocked at who his favorite Ninja Turtle is, but that's neither here nor there.
Watch him say Michelangelo so me and David can cringe.
No. Well, I can't say it. But we almost had a verbal argument. That said, that said, you can find that show over on the Trophy Room Show on YouTube. You can find the podcast version of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation news each and every Thursday. Over on Apple Podcasts, over on Google Play, over on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast feeds, you can check the show out there. And yeah, you can find me at Mr. Badbit, and you can find the show's Twitter at PS Trophy Room. And again, sorry I was so late, but thank you so much for having me, because I always love talking to y'all.
Yeah, well, listen, we love having you, bro, and we definitely enjoy what you bring to this community. Crispy Bomb, I know that this is going to be an incredible weekend for you, and obviously when you come around to next week's next podcast, there's going to be a lot of talk regarding Xbox, Bethesda, and what it means to be exclusive. Tell everyone where they can reach out to you on social media, but more importantly, check out what other shows you're on.
Oh, shout out to you guys. I can't believe it's been 2 hours. What's going on here?
Know, right?
Shout out to the chat. I mean, just the tremendous support for Boom. It's much appreciated. This man has worked his tail off and has stood on that square, and finally the square is being rebuilt. So we love to see it. And I definitely want to shout out ILP. That is probably, that Jason Rodham interview is probably one of the best interviews I've ever seen.
Yep.
And you gentlemen did an incredible job, and you even got a couple tidbits out of them too. Yeah. And I implore everybody, if you're wondering what it is, go check it out.
Yeah,
and yes, yeah, at Crispy Bomb on Twitter, Crispy Bomb 28, Xbox Live. You can find me on Retro Renegade 7 p.m. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Thursday, the next podcast, and of course back here Friday mornings with Breakfast with Boom.
Well, thank you for being here, brother. Definitely appreciate that. And last and no way least, we didn't get him for the whole episode, but we did get his opinion on the biggest topic of the day. Dreadpool, tell everyone about breaking bread with Dread, and more importantly, where could people reach out, strike up a conversation?
Oh, man, I got to tell you, this was like the fastest 2 hours I've ever been on the show. It is the fastest. So, yeah, my apologies for that. I just could not wake up. I mean, I got home and I had to crash out for a bit. And next thing I know, my wife's trying to wake me up. She's like, you got a show? And I'm like, I'm waking up. I'm getting up. And next thing I know, it's like an hour later. Like, oh, boy. So it's just, work is work. We got to do what we got to do. But at least I made it for the whole 2 hours, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, so you can find me on Twitter, Dreadpool. The O's are actually zeros. YouTube gamer tag is Dreadpool, all letters, all caps. Breaking Bread with Dread. The episode that I just released a few weeks ago is actually starting to pick up. I was kind of surprised because it is a different type of, I guess you would say, influencer. Mm-hmm. And it's not, a typical gamer like we're all used to. It is Topless Fett. He's also, he's a TikToker.
Oh, that's pretty cool, dude. Yeah.
So he goes by Hell Daddy within his community, and it was a good sit down. So and we still talk about Halo because we used to play Halo together. That's kind of one of the things you'll find out more of. How I've met him and all this stuff and how this interview came to be. But it's, like I said, totally not like anybody, like a gaming person within our community, but I wanted to branch out and do some more. And that's the guy that's got over 30,000 followers on TikTok.
Holy matrimony. Wow. Okay, so that's definitely cool. Yeah.
Definitely check it out. Like I said, it just started picking up again because it was about 20 views. And I was like, I guess this isn't the direction to go. But within the past couple of days, it just popped up, and I was like, all right, cool. Maybe I did find a good one. But I enjoyed it, so hopefully you guys will too. And then back to the week, Gaming Beyond the Box. Every Wednesday nights, we have the Halo tournament that's going on. We will have some more tournaments going on into the future, and we will... It's a work in progress, right? This is our first one. So as we go, we will get better with it. We've got WFNR, or FWNR. I'm sorry. got so dyslexic there. And
That's me every day.
I'm still waking up, okay? Breakfast with Boom here every 10 a.m. when I show up on time. And Four Guys with Quarters, Clowns just had a great interview yesterday.
Yes.
Surprised how, not just how great it was, but just who was on there, okay? And he's got more people coming up, so check that out. Obviously, I wasn't there. I couldn't make it, but check him out when he does his interviews.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he's been doing some great work at Four Guys with Quarters. We love what Clowns has been doing. He took the reins of that channel and has really made some big strides. But listen, folks, I want to wish everyone an amazing weekend. Hopefully, you are going to remain safe. Be smart. COVID's still a thing. Wear a mask. Wear gloves. Wash your hands. And I'm going to close out the show with something that's important to me. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my father taught us when we were young. And I think now more than ever, it's super relevant. He used to say this: son, treat others how you want to be treated, and also it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.